Welcome to growthtofreedom.com, the show that brings you inspiration, transformation, and leadership. We're helping you connect the dots, see the blind spots, and get unstuck so you can go out and generate more leads, more sales, more profits. More importantly, so you can go out and have a bigger reach, a bigger impact, and make a bigger contribution. Welcome to today's show. We have got a very special guest for you today. And before we get into that, though, let me ask you this. What would achieving your biggest goals mean? And if you weren't afraid to actually be able to go for it, right? If you weren't afraid to actually look, well, a little stupid for that matter, what would happen for you if you asked the question, how far can I actually take what I'm doing? How far can I take this? What would actually make what you're attempting to do something as a stupid achievement? And in fact, last but not least, but what if you could be in a situation and you could go for ridiculous instead of the norm? Well, if any of those questions are something that strikes your curiosity, gets you inspired to look at things unique and different, then you're going to love today's guest, because he is all of that and more. Not only has he gone for stupid, he's gone for insane. He's gone for stretching the status quo, as most would call it. He's been able to host some of the premier events in the world for some of the top experts, celebrities. He brings celebrities together. He connects people to celebrities with one of his businesses. And he also can help you go for stupid, the art of achieving ridiculous goals. Is that what you want? Well, if it is what you want, then you're going to love today's guest. He's counterintuitive. He's somewhat, I've gotten a chance to know, Steve, 15 years, I think, a chance to meet. Over 15 years ago, he's consistent and he's as genuine and real as they get. His name is Steve Sims. Steve, welcome to the show. How are you, brother?
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Same here. And I want to dive right into it because you have just a wealth of wisdom. We only have a limited amount of time, of course. Why'd you write this book on the back of your previous book, Bluefishing?
So Bluefishing came out 5 years ago, and I thought to myself, no one's going to buy it. It's too bloody obvious. You know, it's this simple, most impactful things in order to get to the people and the relationships you want. Everyone must be doing it. And they weren't. And it took off. And as you know, I've ended up speaking, training, coaching literally all over the planet because of this. And I've noticed that people try to, pay that pain away. You know, if someone can do this over here and it's free, but they've got to do it, and over here it's 10 grand, that's striking a check straight away. There just seems to be this desire to not do shit and get someone else to do it. So the first book came out, I did very well out of it. And, it launched my life in a different angle. And then all of a sudden COVID came across. And there's a joint friend of ours, Sean Stevenson, the late but always great Sean Stevenson. And he used to say, hey, has this been done to me or for me? And entrepreneurs, we're very opportunist. We we're like the Matrix. We see things that other people don't see. That's why we're entrepreneurs. That's why we're the weird kids in Hogwarts. So when COVID came across, I was literally on a plane every single month somewhere, Poland, Korea, Japan. I was always flying around the planet. COVID came across and I couldn't leave my home. All of a sudden, I was spending all day with my family, all day with my wife. And also any of the people that I was trying to get hold of, they were at home. So no one could not take my call because they weren't in a business meeting. They weren't flying. They weren't planning. So nothing could be done. So I suddenly went, whoa, this COVID thing is brilliant. Now, before you all start hating on me, for one, I don't care if you do, but I appreciate there was a lot of pain and loss during this period of that. I am not trying to trivialize. That affected some people. It didn't affect everybody. How it affected you, I apologize. But for me, it was fantastic. I had like a 9-day week. And I was like, well, I can make more money. I can do anything, but we can't make more time. And I thought, this is great. So I started looking, literally just started cleaning up my garage, cleaning up my house, cleaning up my life, cleaning up what worked, what didn't work. And then I would hit Facebook just for a little bit of fun. And I would see people on there going, hey, I finished Sopranos today. What else can I binge watch tomorrow? You know, how else can I waste my life? I was like, are you kidding? You've been given a gift here. It's not like you die at the age of, I don't know, 81, and someone upstairs comes down and goes, whoa, 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 hang on a minute. You were supposed to die at 81, but you remember COVID? You know, we kind of took those 2.5 years. So you've got another 2. Start the clock again. You've got another 2. No, it's gone. It's done. How well did you waste it? And so for me, I started kind of getting a little bit agitated and a little bit borderline violent at how people were. And I started doing memes and comments and blogs and all these kind of things. And then I noticed that we're in COVID during a period where people were bitching that they couldn't connect and communicate. Now, okay, I couldn't hug you, but Zoom became my best friend. And also this really weird invention that came up, this phone. I was absolutely phoning people and FaceTiming. And you know what? I was not intruding. People were like, oh, hey, Steve. They wanted to talk to. So there was all these people going, I can't connect. I can't go to the gym. Your fat ass wasn't going to the gym before COVID. Now it's just a very beautiful excuse for you. And it started to aggravate me. So we were losing the ability as a species to communicate and rationalize. And then what happened halfway through COVID? We got aggravated. I think every conspiracy theory known to man has come out of the woodwork. We've also started coming out with protests and march, Me Too, Asian hate, Black Lives Matter. All of these conversations we had to have. But there was something else in the air. Cancel culture. I dare not say anything about Black Lives Matter. I dare not question Me Too. I dare not ask what's going on with Asian hate. I better not be curious about any of these things. My God, someone would take one of my sound bites and cancel my career. So rather than having those conversations that we still need to have, we ran away from them. Now, the only thing that makes humans humans is our desire and our ability to connect. AI is going to replace most of everything. Machinery is going to replace the rest of it. Tablets are going to replace it. We as human beings, we're pack animals. We congregate around those groups that match our thoughts, our ethos, our culture. But when we lose that ability to communicate what that is, we end up being alone. And then alone becomes depression. So I started writing memes, started writing blogs, started writing, just what I was thinking. And people went, why don't you put it into like blogs and stuff and maybe long form? And it just started going. And then I thought to myself, well, we know what the danger is today. We know what the big evil is today. It's the media. Fake news, the media, it's terrible. Well, we all have that ability to push the button. We can all turn it off. We don't have to listen. They don't knock on our door and go, hey, listen to this for 30 minutes. We don't need to do that. So is media the problem, or is the fact that we can just distribute fake and negative news faster and wider? So I started looking back in history, and this was all just for shits and giggles. There was no idea of a book, but I just thought, where is the problem? Is it media? Is it us? And I started noticing that all the way through history, Henry Ford, Edison, coffee, they tried banning coffee for the hallucinogenic properties. There were so many things that were literally called fads or tried to be protested. Walt Disney, Elon Musk, all of these people were thought of as idiots until they actually concluded what their vision was. And then we revered them as geniuses. But along the way, we gave them shit. And I suddenly realized the problem wasn't the media. The problem wasn't today. The problem's always been with us. We as a species love to rip people apart because 85% of the planet works for 15%. But that 85 is bloody noisy. And they shout things, whether or not they're educated or not, whether or not they can afford you or not, they love to shout. And the stupid people, yeah, I'm calling you guys out there and girls stupid. You're stupid if you listen to them. The person that can't afford you, that's moaning about your pricing structure, who's got the problem? So that's where I really kind of came around. And in the end, I thought, okay, I've got to put it out there. I've actually got to put a book out there with my feelings, my tactics, my stories, my ideas, some of the wealthy people I know, what they get up to, how they change their culture, mindset, and focus, and try to be, as they say, part of the solution. I wanted to become part of the solution rather than adding to the problem. That's why the book came out just over a month ago.
And that's so amazing. See, there's so many layers of this because, you know, you've been able to hang out with Elon Musk. You've been able to be, you know, in some of the most amazing places and with the most amazing people in the world, to be able to take all this stuff and compel it down into a simple format. And I think, you know, one of the things I love near the end of the book that you speak about that I think ties this together, right? And it's this idea, like, what would you go achieve if you knew you couldn't fail and you weren't going to get laughed at at the end of the day? And you say, dare to be that 5-year-old. Speak to that a little bit.
So my wife always used to call me a 5-year-old, 55-year-old. And well, the actual statement was I was a 55-year-old, 5-year-old. And I remember when she said that to me, I was like, well, what do you mean by that? You know, you just being nasty to me again. You know, we've been together since we were 16 and 17. So I just thought she was taking a stab at me. But she said, no, you're always curious. The 5-year-old doesn't care. The 5-year-old wants to know how the remote control works, so he takes the back off. Doesn't ask permission, just unscrews it. You know, can I ride my push bike with no hands until you fall off and scrape your chin? The 5-year-old tries things. And I realized that was me. Now, you've met me. You know me. You've known me for many, many years. And I have never overthought anything. I've just gone, well, I wonder what happened. I wonder if I push that button. I wonder if I lick my finger here. I wonder if I do this. And then I become educated. Now, we want to become educated without the pain. But for some people, like me, Ed, here, I need to find out where my edge is and where the pain is. And then I go, whoa. Not doing that again, but if I just go 3 inches to the left, I'll be able to pull that off. So I would always get going and then get good. That was the classic Ari Meisel statement. And so I always had that childlike curiosity. And again, I started my whole journey to try and hang around with rich people. That's how the whole concierge firm came about. I didn't care about being front row at the Milan Fashion Week or hanging out with Ferrari in Monaco. Really didn't care. You know me. I drink too much whiskey, wear a black T-shirt, ride motorcycles. That's it. I'm pretty dull. But I wanted to have conversations with powerful people and go, hey, how come you're so powerful? Because all the people we revere weren't always powerful. You know, they started 9 times out of 10 living in their parents' house or working out at a garage or bunking up with a bunch of mates. They didn't come from a lot of cash. So how did they suddenly adapt? And I realized they all had these visions. The classic ones, Walt Disney. You know, he visioned the Epcot Center. And then you got Elon Musk going, I don't like the way banking works. I'm going to disrupt it. And he did. And then he's going to disrupt cars. Did that too. Now, if Elon Musk suddenly turned around and said, hey, I'm going to make a tablet that's going to turn the entire ocean into drinkable water, everyone would go, yeah, he probably is. Now you'd get all the haters, oh, what's that going to do to the fish and stuff? But the bottom line of it is, he's done it so many times now that you don't contradict him. But I want to give you an example. Me and you have avoided that by making sure we're in the right rooms. But before you started hanging out in the right rooms, Dan, do you remember when you would sit at the coffee table? And this could be with your family. This could be with your friends. This could be with just like a group that you just met. And you start talking about your business and the ideas you've got for it and how you're going to scale it and you're going to do this and you're going to do a podcast and you're going to do that. And then I'm going to move it over to here and then I'm going to channel it over and you start outlining what it is you're going to do. And the crowd you're with, they start to glaze over.
Yeah.
And they suddenly start and they go, oh, Dan, are you mad? Now, we're faced with two choices at that time. One, dull down our dreams and go, oh, sorry about that. Someone must have spiked my coffee. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm back. Don't be silly. I'm going to carry on. I don't know what I was talking about, but I'm back. And they go, oh, okay then. Or we get up, we leave the table, and we move to another room. A room where people challenge us, where people support us. And I know you've done that because we've been in those same rooms. But the sad thing is 99% of us go with option number one. And I know for a fact I've had conversations and then dulled down my my goals just to fit in with the table, and then gone home hating myself, going, hang on. You know, one's at a gas station, the other one's going to give me my burger on the drive-thru tomorrow. Why? Why did I delve down? Now, bear in mind, I was a bricklayer riding around on a crappy motorcycle, but I openly said, I want to talk to rich people. And they were like, oh, I'm not going to talk to you. Well, I've just therefore got to find a way. I'd give them a reason why they would, you know? And they'd be like, oh, you're stupid, Steve. No one's going to talk to you. You're an idiot. Hang around with us. And I suddenly realized these weren't my people. These were my crabs. And I had to step away from it. And that's the tough thing. I talk about it in the book, and I talk about surrounding yourself with people that are going to challenge you to do more. And as Elon Musk, and I will name drop, I was with Elon Musk in SpaceX, I don't know, 6 years ago. And he turned around and he said, do you know, they'll always laugh at you just before they applaud.
Yes.
And I thought, that's it. And if they're not laughing at me, then I'm not ready to be applauded.
And it's so interesting, Steve, right? Because we have all these influences over time. You know, as a kid, you know, I remember when I, you know, just gotten my driver's license, and one of my friends that I grew up with in the inner city, he had moved to Columbus, Ohio. And so now that I had my license, I could go visit him in Columbus. So I'd literally drive from where I lived in the city, and he was in Columbus. And it was fascinating to me that he was, you know, living where he did. And I remember he introduced me, well, my dad introduced me to, but he introduced me to Boardroom, you know, the newsletter, and he introduced me to Dennis Waitley, personal development tapes from Nightingale Conant. And it helped open. So those influences, you know, have a direct and indirect impact that sometimes we don't even recognize for so many years. You talk about getting in the right rooms, right? As a key strategy. You talk a lot about the influences we get or we have in Go for Stupid.
Yeah.
What you see are some of the biggest mistakes that people make when it comes to, well, I'll just leave it open-ended because you could take this a lot of different ways, I know. So I'm going to let you dictate it. Biggest mistakes people make when they're considering going for stupid, achieving big, unreasonable goals.
Okay, so I spoke about COVID and how we were really bad at having conversations. And we all know that that's happened. Everyone out there is scared. Yeah, if I stand here and I say Elon Musk Twitter, Donald Trump, Black Lives Matter, Me Too, COVID, if I say any of those things, there's going to be these little triggers that suddenly start going around. And you're not going to want to get into a conversation with it because, oh, you may say something that I record and then I can boomerang it on TikTok and you're done. Those aren't the worst conversations we're avoiding. It's the conversation with ourselves. How many times do the people listening say, hey, let's try and do this. Oh, hang on a minute. No, I couldn't do that. They start answering themselves. You know, they will literally go, right, I'm gonna do this with that, and that. Oh, but hang on, I don't know how to do that. Hang on. Let's do what we've always done. And we listen to the wrong side of our head. There's that little devil that every now and then pops up and goes, you can't do that. We have the mistake, instead of confronting and going, hang on, why can't I? Why shouldn't it be me? Why shouldn't I be in that position? Why can't I achieve that? Why am I not capable, willing, or able to walk in that circle? And instead of confronting our little devil, we go, yeah, you're right. Because we think they're on our side. They're not. So the first mistake people have is they listen to the wrong person and they don't converse with themselves. Now, I reckon I could be locked up a lot because I physically talk to myself. Now, I ride motorcycles 6 days a week, and I use that time to converse with myself. I'll be rehearsing a speech that's coming up. I'll be talking to myself about what my client's goals are and how we can be doing it. Well, why don't we look at doing this, Steve? So if we did this, what would be the aspect? And I will literally be hands on handlebars talking, not in a head, talking to myself. And I'll be walking down the beach. And I literally converse with myself a lot because I need me on my side. So I think the first mistake you've got is listening to the wrong person, and that wrong person 9 times out of 10 is you. It's the person that when you're about to put your hand up and ask a question, that little devil goes, don't be stupid, and you put your hand down again. You know, being stupid is putting your hand down. Being smart is keeping it up there and getting your curiosity satisfied. That's what you got to do. So that's the biggest mistake, is listening to the wrong person, and 9 times out of 10, that's you. If you can converse with you and get you on your side and start adding the why not or why can't, adding the why into those statements, you'll edit the way you conceive and perceive things, and it'll push you forward. And then eventually your little devil will just sit there and go, I got nothing. You know, you go for it. You just go, you know, and they will shut up. I haven't heard my little devil for, I don't know, 15 years.
And, you know, as you're listening or you're watching right now, like, what would happen if you could embrace what that little devil is saying and literally follow going for stupid, going for unrealistic, unreasonable type goals, going for bigger achievements, going for greatness, going for excellence, growing for those things. You know, Steve, in the book, I think it was near the end of the book, you had a simple framework I think kind of ties this together a little bit, which is, you know, when you and your family go out, you make it a game almost, and you gamify your life, which is something I really am fascinated by getting a chance to observe you, to know you, to watch you, all these different, you didn't know I was watching that closely, did you? But like you just, life is a game to you in many cases, right? But you talk about ordering, we go out and we order off the menu. And our game is that we're going to order something off the menu we've never ordered before, which I think really in a simple way kind of summarizes this mindset of don't let that little devil keep you comfortable, stretch, go for ridiculous goals. Talk about that a little bit.
There's a lot to unpack there. So let's break it down into little bits and pieces. Have you ever been walking through the car park, you know, through a dealership or whatever, and you've seen this car and it's a strange color? It could be mustard yellow. It could be like pale blue, whatever. It's just a strange color. And you look at it and you go, well, that's a weird color. I've never seen that color before. When you're driving down the highway the following day, what's the only color you can see?
The same one everywhere.
It's that color everywhere. Why? Because your mind has been introduced to it. Now, as entrepreneurs, if your mind gets introduced to opportunities and difference, that's all it can see. They go, oh, hey, over there, Steve, there's an opportunity over here. I know you like those. I know you look for those. So over here. So you've got to train your mind not to be closed and blinkered, but to be open and searching when you're not. Okay, so that's the first thing you got to do. And there's different ways of doing it. And I'll get into the eating game in a second. But when you say, if I say to you, hey, I want you to think of throwing a party, okay? And I want you to make the most, you know, impossible thing possible. Think of it like that, Dan. You know, go for that impossible goal. I want you to really grasp it and go for it. And then I change it and I go, hey, Dan, you know that party you're going to throw? How can we make that stupid? How can we make something ridiculous? How can we just go all out nuts on that? Now, here's a little test that I was setting you up for and you passed. I want everyone to now rewind 30 seconds and watch Dan's face as I offered him those options. Because when someone says, hey, we're going to go for the impossible, you close your lips and you kind of focus as though you know you're going to get a punch in the head because, hey, you've already said it's impossible, but I'm going to go for it. And you're like, let's make the impossible possible. But the second I said stupid, Dan's face lit up. Because now he's a child. And a child doesn't think with reason or parameters or ceilings or constraints. It's okay, well, let's get dancing fairies in here on blue elephants. Now that you've visioned it, take a step back. How do you make it happen? Okay, so the whole point is when you think of something stupid, different parts of your head come in and you become that curious 5-year-old that sets out to do something just magical. And that's what all of the people we revere do. Steve Jobs couldn't run code. Elon Musk knew nothing about banking, cars, and space. Larry Page just wanted a single place that everyone could communicate. All of these people had ideas. Henry Ford, the car, Walt Disney, Epcot Center and the Disney Center. You know, it just, everyone went for a goal, a magical idea, and then just reverse engineered how to do it. Now, again, people say go for stupid, and that little devil in the back of your head may be going, oh, he's talking about selling your house and gambling it all on black. No, I'm on about opening your mind to stupid, unforeseen possibilities. And one of the ways that I do that is, as you hinted at the beginning, and as I'm now going to answer after a really long way, how we go out and eat. And I talk about it in the book, but I used to annoy the shit out of the kids. We would go into a restaurant and I would go, right, okay, appetizers, not the main meal. I don't want to waste money on a bad meal. So I know I want a steak tonight. I'm not going to mess with, but these appetizers, these little $5 things, what is the craziest thing on there that we've never tried before? Well, I like the asparagus. I like the crab cakes. Yeah, I know you do. But what is on here that you don't know? Well, there's this thing. Let's have it. But you don't know what it is. But I will do. Once I've had it, I'll know. And it would have cost me $5. And at that point, I will be able to tell you, as an educated person, if that was the most amazing thing I've ever eaten or the worst. And we've done that for years. And my kids used to hate it. Now, whenever we go to a restaurant, my kids are like, oh, I'll do it. I'll do the appetizers. And they will pick the weirdest things. Now, when you're in a sushi restaurant, this can be a bit dangerous sometimes. This can be a bit scary. And I will openly tell you, we went to Japan, and I can't believe some of the things that actually entered my mouth, and I pray they never do again. But it opens your mind to receive difference. And again, I become an educated individual the second I have something that, even if I dislike it, I'm now educated to that. So it doesn't have to be expensive to get your mind open to different opportunities.
And in fact, one of your great quotes that I love is expensive beats worth it. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. Don't ask for it to be. It doesn't.
Impact doesn't matter. Impact is not relevant to the price tag.
That's right. That's right.
People think they have to throw money at something for it to be wonderful. No, for a couple of bucks, you can just try something different. Just listen. One of the other things I do, which I don't know if I put in the book, every now and then I have this World Tuner app, this radio station app on my phone. And what I'll do is every now and then I will just go into country, do one quick flick and then stop it, and then pick like the 10th radio station down, and I'll play it for an hour. Now, it may be world news in Polish, at 3 o'clock in the morning, but I'll listen to it for an hour just to listen to the attitude and the style. I listened to one a while ago, and it was Norwegian EDM, electronic dance music, at like 2 o'clock in the morning in the acid hours. And it was like, boom, 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 boom. And I listened to that horrible music for an hour. Now, a lot of people would go, well, why'd you do that? Because I'm now educated that I hate Norwegian electronic dance music. It didn't cost me anything. but it allowed me to open up my mind to receive different things. And when your mind's open, the way you interact with someone, you're open to that. If I can be open to Norwegian dance music, I can be open to your viewpoint on marketing or religion or relationships. It opens your mind to more.
And opening your mind to more, what would happen for you as you're listening or you're watching right now if you became more thoughtful to go for stupid, to go for achieving ridiculous goals, to look at the impossible as possible? Go for stupid, right? As Steve has mentioned in our previous episode, you can go check that out at growthtofreedom.com. Thoughtful beats expensive. Thoughtful is what we're talking about. Thoughtful ways of looking at your life and stretching the status quo, stretching the norm. What if you started taking a simple approach like ordering something new off the menu every single time? Start looking for stupid in what you're doing to go big, to have a bigger impact, to have a bigger reach. Now, Steve, not only have you done this yourself, not only have you connected people to, what many would call impossible experiences in their life and made them possible, you helped them go for stupid and made them real. On top of that, you help founders, CEOs, entrepreneurs be able to do the same type of things. What are a couple stories of how you've helped a couple, maybe one or two quick stories of how you've helped some of your clients go for stupid?
Sure. Well, there's the classic story of Michelangelo when he was making David, and people used to say to him, you had this big lump of marble. How did you manage to get David out of that? And he retorted with, David was always in there. I just had to let him out. A lot of businesses, the first thing they do is clutter the hell out of themselves. They make themselves sound too articulate. They make that copy sound a little bit too woolly, woozy, fanciful. The bottom line of it is your company falls into two categories. You're aspirational or you're solution-based. A plumber cleans the toilet. I don't want them to turn up all tied up in a Tiffany blue bow. We don't care about that. But if I'm buying a handbag, I want to feel as though I made it by that wonderful Italian handbag in that box and the precocious sales associate that sold it to me. So those are the two angles you move into. So we work with a lot of companies to actually remove that confusion and focus on the clarity and focus on the impact, not with what you do for your clients, but also focusing on the clarity of the relationship you have with your clients, with your team, with your family, and with yourself. Now, if we can get rid of the confusion, focus on the clarity, and make you impossible to misunderstand, you end up being that scalpel. You end up being that fine-tuned knife that can actually cut through all the crap that's constantly distracting us on a day-to-day basis.
And with that, what is an example of someone you've been able to help get more clarity in their business to go out and have a bigger impact? In other words, they've applied the go for stupid principles and set those ridiculous goals.
Well, the classic one is that people, if they're making $500,000, they want to make $1 million. Okay. Well, we've actually ended up building strategies where they've gone for 5 or they've gone for 10 and they've failed and they've hit 4 or they've hit 6. You see, you've got to push your goals to the point that even a failure for you is going to be 20 times higher than what you would have settled on. So we focus on your goals, actually understanding what they are, and then challenge you to think a bigger game. Keyword game. And then go for it. And then we focus on making sure that all the peripheral crap around you that's really not important towards your end goal is removed, so you're not carrying weight. A lot of people, whenever they want to make, an engine more powerful, they tune and they put bigger exhausts, bigger heads. They tune this engine to be more powerful. If you reduce the weight, then there's less stress on that engine and it becomes more powerful. 9 times out of 10, you are that thoroughbred, but you're actually towing a cart. And we've got to find out what's important in your life to make the most impact out of you. So it's reducing a lot of clutter. It's getting you to think bigger with your goals. And it's getting to focus on your trajectory and how you're actually working on it. And if you're not in the right angle, pivot quick.
And as you're listening or you're watching right now, like what would happen? Think about you. You're $1 million thoroughbred racehorse. And you're pulling something. you're either pulling something aspirational or solution oriented, or you're carrying the weight that's holding you back. You're overburdened, you're overstressed, you don't have clarity. In other words, you don't have wheels on the cart that you're pulling behind you. In fact, not only are you pulling a cart with no wheels on it, maybe you're in a place where there's 1,000 pounds in the back of it. Call it, false beliefs, limiting beliefs, lack of clarity, uncertainty, the lack of having confidence in the market, having lack of understanding the data behind what you're doing. Well, just imagine what would happen if you could work with Steve. You could get ultimate clarity to go for stupid, not just to set goals, but notice this key word here, achieve. I don't believe in goal setting. I believe in goal achieving.
Yep.
So go for stupid, the art of achieving ridiculous goals, right? And put wheels on the cart. It makes it go a whole, when you get clarity, when you get a plan, when you get a system like you get working with Steve, right? And starting with something as simple as the idea of go for stupid, what would happen for you? Imagine what would happen if Steve got you to reshift to get ultimate clarity on really what's important, and then also put wheels on your cart to allow you to run faster, better, and more. And not only put wheels on it, but maybe he was able to put some Mach 3 in the back of it to help you get there in a shorter period of time. What would that do for you? Now, Steve, if people want to learn more about your book, about your programs, how to connect with you, where can they go to get more information? Where do you want them to go?
Well, they could go to goforstupid.com. That's the website for the actual book. They can jump on Amazon and just type in Go for Stupid and the book will come up. Or they can visit me at Steve D. Sims, D for dashing and only one M in Sims, stevedsims.com or anywhere, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I'm Steve D. Sims on every single one of those social platforms. So just Google stevedsims.com. You'll find me.
So if you're looking for a way to be able to go out and achieve ridiculous goals, I'd encourage you, go get Steve's book, man. Go for Stupid, The Art of Achieving Ridiculous Goals. You can go to goforstupid.com. That's goforstupid.com. Take that first step. Check out if you're intrigued by how Steve can help you, maybe your company, help you as a founder, help you achieve a whole lot more and do it in a lot less time, right? Do more with less. Then go to stevedsims.com. That's stevedsims.com. Steve, as we wrap this up here, brother, what's something I should have asked you that I didn't?
Oh, wow. God, that's long, isn't it? I don't know. God, that's a tough one when you're interviewing yourself. I think you've done it. You've done it right. We're aggravated enough. We know what the problem is today, and I want people to change it. I'm 55 years old. My life's pretty rosy. I'm quite happy. I'm quite lucky, quite fortunate. And I want to be able to push people to just dare to go for something different, dare to go for something stupid.
So that being the case, what would you hope 1 to 3 action steps someone would take from today?
I'm going to give you one. I'm going to give you a system and a structure that I use with all of my coaching clients when we start to get to this subject. All right. And this is what you do. Follow this. I need you to get a fat Sharpie, or I need you to get a crayon, not a big pen, not a biro, not a pencil, something playful, maybe even a really funny color. At the top of this piece of paper, I want you to take the year that you're listening to this podcast and add 5. So we're doing this in late 2022. Add 5. So just at the top, just go 2027. All right. That's what I want you to do. Put in big, bold letters, big numbers, that year. 5 years from the year of you listening to this. And then underneath that, I want you to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then on the first goal, without thinking, what's something you want? Don't listen to your devil, just throw it down. I want a new car. What car? A Ferrari 527, GSS, whatever. I don't like cars much, but put down whatever car it is and be as exact as possible. Goal number 2, I want a beach house in Malibu. 3-bedroom, single-story beach house in Malibu. Number 3, I want to spend a month in Tuscany. Write down your goals and hit them down there, not listening to the devil in the back of your head. Why should you? You're just puking up your goals now. Put all 5 goals down there and then look at it. Don't talk. Don't speak. Don't listen to the devil. Let it percolate. Let it saturate. Because the next bit gets fun. Get your Sharpie, go up to where it says 2027, cross it out, and put 1 year from now. And then what I want you to do is go, okay, what needs to happen in 11 months for me to hit that 12-month goal? What needs to happen in 10 months, 9 months, 8 months, 7 months, next week? Start moving towards that goal. Now, are you going to get all 5 goals? I really hope you will. You may fail and get 4, but I guarantee you'll be far further ahead than if you'd have just gone for what you could achieve or what you would settle at.
That's amazing, Steve. He's Steve Sims. I encourage you, go get the book, Go for Stupid. Go to goforstupid.com. If something Steve shared with you resonates with you, if you're looking for a way to go for stupid, to set ridiculous goals, to have a ridiculous impact, to have a ridiculous contribution in the world, then I encourage you, check out what Steve's got available at stevedsims.com. That's stevedsims.com. Now, I got a couple personal questions before we wrap up, Steve, that you just made me think of as you shared that. That was so powerful. I encourage you, by the way, take action with that one simple step and transform these ridiculous goals into something that happens in the next 12 months. You work, your son now works with you.
Yeah.
And you take a lot of, it seems, pride and joy. And I mean, it looks like you two are having a blast together. He's, brings a certain aspect of the table. What do you hope to instill in your kids, right? Including your son, in values?
Wow.
As he's growing up.
Values. We went for that one. I don't think my son works with me, and I think he would argue that if you said that. We both definitely have skill sets that complement each other, and we are learning to work with each other. And sometimes it's not easy, and then sometimes it's spectacular. So there's always that. But I think any parent only has one goal, that their child is better than them. And that's the only goal I have. I want them to try more. I want them to be more. I want them to have high standards. I want them to have high ethics. If you say you're going to do something and you just realize you priced it wrong, gives a shit. Your word is more important than your invoice. I want people to be ethical, strong, powerful, and I want them to turn up and show up. So those are the PowerPoints I always push with Henry. And he does very well. And of course, what happens? His standards go up, which makes me want to hire my standards. So it's a constant goal of gain. If you're both looking to be better and better and better and better, you only end up being better.
Isn't that the truth? And again, Steve's given you an inside view of his family life as well as his business. Again, go check out the book at goforstupid.com. Check out what Steve's doing at stevedsims.com. One last question, Steve, as we wrap up, I promise. Your wife, you guys
I have one.
What seems to be a very deep, rich relationship. And I can't help but wonder, what do you thank her for? Like, if you're going to turn to her tonight and say, hey, thank you for, what would you fill in the blank as far as how she has helped show up for you to encourage, not hold back, but champion you for you to actually go for your stupid?
Well, as you know, because I actually I acknowledged the book to her right at the beginning. I can't. The pivots, the moments, the highs, the lows, where she's been, hey, don't get above yourself, or hey, pick yourself up. There's too much. If we were to go over any of those, I don't know where we would start. We'd end up with like a 15-year podcast. I think quite simply, never thought of it like this, but I probably think she's the Michelangelo. I think I was just a big, ugly piece of marble that could have fallen over and crushed anybody or hurt anybody. And she sculpted maybe something a little bit half decent that, you know, could help people. So she's far more responsible for this beast than she realizes. So pretty much everything.
What a gift. He's Steve Sims. Go get his book, goforstupid.com, stevedsims.com. If you're looking for a way to, you know, work with someone who's, you know, just one of the most authentic, genuine in an overused world where that's used, what you see is what you get with Steve. And he makes no excuses for it. And you'll be better for it, not only as a human being, as a parent, as a spouse, but also running your business to go achieve ridiculous goals. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Take action with what we've shared with you. We'll see you next time on growthtofreedom.com.
Thanks for listening to this episode of growthtofreedom.com. Are you struggling to get a steady flow of new clients every day, or maybe hit a plateau or hit a wall in growing your business? Well, let's help you solve this problem today. Let's review your business and have a conversation. You can do that for free today at breakthroughstrategycall.com. That's breakthroughstrategycall.com. In addition, if you're looking for a simple way to implement some of what we've been talking about in today's episode, then I want to encourage you to get our free small business toolkit. You can get that at activate.breakthrough3x.com. That's activate.breakthrough3x.com. If you'd like access to the special resources and all the show notes for this special episode, make sure to visit growthtofreedom.com.